All right. Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday night. Thank you for being on with me on the Royal We Live. And I'm going to wait just a few moments here. Looks like there's a little bit of a lag time. So I'm going to wait till I see some sign of life. There's Purple Butterfly. How are you? It's so good to see you. Hope you had a really good Thanksgiving. I'm going to turn the music up so we can get some Royal Wheat music going on in here while people are showing up. We have a lot to talk about coming out of Thanksgiving tonight. Hey, Tanya, what's going on? How are you? Happy week after Thanksgiving. Hope you had a good one. Tonight, we're going to be talking about projection. I'm excited about talking about projection just because there's a lot to understand about projection. There's a lot that I've wanted to talk about in some organic videos, haven't really had the opportunity to. So I figured it'd be a good opportunity to talk about it live. We could talk about projection, how narcissists, how toxic people form the narratives of their projection, and how projection works, how projection ultimately can really hurt you. And then ultimately, in this video, we want to talk about how to get away from that projection altogether so that it doesn't affect you. So it's very good to see everybody. Hey, Purple Butterfly. Hey, Blue. Tanya and Taylor is in the house. All the moderators are in, so we're going to have a show for the moderators tonight. There's Caroline K. There's D-Doll. Hello, it's live. Hopefully you all can hear me, right? Everything is good. No BooTube issues, none of that stuff. Coming through loud and clear. Right on. Good. Looks like everybody... Okay, I saw a great topic. Thank you for letting me know that you can hear me. It is so important. I start to panic when I see the YouTube, when I see the stream, and I'm not seeing anybody say hi, Kev, or there's Blue, or good topic, or any of that stuff. It makes me want to stop the stream and start over, and I've gone that route, and it's pretty bad. I don't want to do that anymore. Well, let's go ahead and get started, and we'll allow people to hop on as they come, and let me go, or as they sign on. I know that there's a lot of people that are still going to be trickling on in. So we'll go ahead and get started. The Royal We is brought to you by the Patreon support. This is going to continue on, and we're going to keep the Patreon going. As a matter of fact, going into this new year, we have some big plans for Patreon and for the Royal We. There's going to be a lot of changes that are going to be taking place. So stay tuned for all the changes with the Royal We. It's going to be good stuff, I promise you. It's going to be a lot of helpful things. We're very, very excited. And D, I see you, even though I'm not on the screen. And I am not out shopping for the drone yet. I still need $100. We're going to get to there, D. We're going to get to there. I'm getting there, Tanya. Let me get through the rest of this stuff. I know. I'm excited too. Speaking of the moderators who are super excited, I'm going to introduce them to you. Taylor, she puts the dream and hashtag the dream team. Tanya gives the best virtual hugs on the internet. Blue is here to link you up. And D-Doll is queen of the one-liners. They're the moderators. They are the heart and the soul of the Royal We Live. They're here to talk with you, speak with you, give you links, share with you thoughts. And when you're done here, if this is your first time on the Royal We Live, head on over to the Royal We Facebook support group, where there's constant flow of information, positive energy, love and support, and it is by far the best narcissistic abuse support group that there is. Can I say that? Does that sound narcissistic of me to say that it's the best? It's the best. It's the best. But I truly believe it's the best, and that's what people say, because there is such a care and a concern for the people who are there, the quality of people who are there. There's a constant flush of people who are inactive, and not to put fear in anybody, but it's maintained as a very safe place, and that's what the Royal We is all about. And okay, let me move on from that. Let me go and jump on into the drone. Fund me. Thank you to everybody who has contributed to the drone GoFundMe. I just want to celebrate and give you all a hug because we only need $100. That's it. So far, we have raised $400 to purchase a brand new drone. For those of you who are new to the Royal We, the Royal We does use a lot of creative shots and footage in the organic videos for YouTube and the videos that are going to be coming. Okay. The Royal We is on a certain type of trajectory. We're getting into creative content development. Gone are the days of just competing in a niche space of just sitting down and talking. It's needed, but there's a lot of room for creative kind of storytelling with the narcissistic abuse and healing. And this is where we're going. The Royal We crashed the drone that has been used. It was sad, and it's been heartbreaking. But the Royal We supporters have come through and have started to put these funds together, donating through the PayPal. You can go to www.jointheroyalwe.com and donate there for the Drone Fund Me. It's still set up as the Drone Fund Me. I'm hoping by the end of this live stream tonight, somebody or 4 of you or however many of you will agree to come together and say, let's just put the rest together. Let's put the remaining 100 up there and get it done with, because this week, as soon as I get this drone, I'm doing an unboxing video, and I have a surprise for those who have donated who are permanently going to be embodied by name on the Royal We drone, and they will be flying in the sky. This is going to be a huge thing. I'm super excited about it. I want to put a scripture also on the drone. He would give me wings to soar like an eagle and all this fun stuff, and just get the Royal We back in the sky. That's what we're trying to do. So for those of you who are watching tonight, if you have not yet donated, I hope by the end of this, you're like, you know what? I want to contribute. Only $100 left, and he's going to go out and get this and get back in the sky and create content. Let's do it. So hopefully by the end of this, we will have that. All right. Okay. Now then, that was quick. I didn't even get to say the names yet. I didn't even get to say that. I have to give the names of the people who have supported so far. So let me go ahead and get over there, if I can do that real quick. All right. Give me 1 second. I just got to type it up because I have to give credit where credit's due. Because this is huge. This is huge. What this has shown me also, I'm going to put some music on here. What this has shown me is that the Royal We is a community that is there, and you really have people's back. This is also not only just a fundraiser for a drone, but it's an experiment to see what is possible in the future. Not just for this. That's not what I'm talking about. But for being able to pull together for a need, should a need arise, right? This is huge. On a small scale or on a large, it doesn't matter. The heart is what we're talking about. So this is a huge deal. And let me go ahead and give the credit, because this is such a huge deal. So I'm going to name the names, and then I promise you we're going to get into tonight's topic on projection. So don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. But I want to go ahead and get this. All right. So I'm going to have to give a big thank you to Kimberly. Thank you so much for your donation, Kimberly. Jennifer, Deborah, Allison, Kathleen, Darlin. There's more. There's more. And if I leave anybody out, because I'm looking at the PayPal right now. I'm looking at the list of donations and just giving the thanks through this. Deborah, Allison, Kathleen, Darlin, Patricia, La, just L.A., La, Tanya, Wendy, and Brian. Thank you all so much. Your names will be engraved permanently on the Royal We drone. So I wanted to give you a shout out. Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for coming together and saying, let's make this happen. Let's keep the creative content going. The Royal We is going on in a direction of creative content, just to let you know. I believe, and I had this talk with Blue. Blue's there, and she understands this, and I know a lot of you that are with me do. healing from narcissistic abuse. There's an aspect of it that we're missing. A lot of channels are missing when we're talking about narcissistic abuse. So this is just between me and you, the Royal We family, the Royal We community. We need to get to a place where we are getting back to who we are. And I'm not talking about the who we are that led us into abusive relationships, but the who we are from the deep down given passions that we have, that we turned off for whatever reason, either intimidation or whatever, but we stepped away from these. As a matter of fact, most of us stepped away from our passions to get involved unknowingly with narcissists. And we kind of we went away from the beaten path that we were on, right? We need to get back on that path. And what the Royal We, what I would like to show visually, because listen, content creating is a passion of mine. My desire was never to sit down and talk about abusive relationships. There was a day when I was in college where I was enjoying working on music videos and this and that, and I know it was such a passion of mine. And I gave it all up, and I have no idea why I gave it up, except to say I got involved with wrong people and the wrong crowd and this and that. But this has opened up a door to get back onto a path and to show people you can go back and you can become and you can do and you can grind and work towards doing some good things. And so we're going to keep going that route. So the drone is an important aspect of that. All right, I've got to move on before I lose your interest, because I'm just getting out there on all this excitement hoopla. So please forgive me. Let's go ahead and get into tonight's topic so we can take phone calls, answer questions, and it's going to be a little bit later tonight, I can already tell. We're going to talk about projection, because projection is a big deal. Projection is something that we all deal with. Projection is a form of gaslighting. Projection is something that really makes us just scratch our heads and go, what in the world is going on? Why? And it catches you off guard. It just completely catches you off guard. It's like you're being told things and you have no idea where they're even coming from. And you want to scratch your head and say, did you just call me toxic? Did you call me selfish? Prior to knowing that you were in a narcissistically abusive relationship, let's face it, you were called things and told things and introduced to things that you didn't quite know. I know I was. Suddenly I was being accused of, when I would stand up for myself, I was being accused of playing a victim. I'm like, am I playing a victim? I'm just asking you to stop calling me names. Am I being a victim? I don't feel like a victim. I'm just trying to reason with you. Let's reason, rationalize with me here. Can we not cuss people out and call people names? Quit playing a victim. Nobody did anything wrong to you, Kev. Like, what is going on? This is weird. Why am I being accused of being a victim and selfish? And so, actually, I have a list of the top 8 or so projection examples. We're going to get there. But first, let's talk about where the projection comes from. It's important to understand this. We're going to talk about what projection is, okay, in narcissists. Now, the definition of projection in psychological terms, and I'm not a psychologist, but you can look this stuff up, Google it, right? Sigmund Freud, who did a lot of research and had a lot of people and whatever, he considered that projection is the thoughts, motivations, desires, and feelings that cannot be accepted as one's own and instead are dealt with by being placed to the outside world and attributed to someone else. So, things about an individual that they don't want to accept about themselves, when it comes to narcissists, we can think of things right off the bat. Anger, hatred, right? Jealousy, envy, just spitefulness. How many of you were with narcissists who were just angry individuals? Just when it came down to it, when the mask slipped, you saw uncontrollable fits of rage and anger and hatred towards people, hatred towards the world, right? So this is what they're dealing with that they cannot accept as their own. Why? Because it goes against their false ego. They want to be known as a sweet, loving person. So what do they do with this stuff? Well, they point at the world. They point at you. They point at me. That is the hatred. That's the anger. That is and they point at you. That's projection, right? It's important to understand that the projector is always the source. Okay? You got a pen, got a paper, write this down. The projector is the source. It's the light. If you look at a projector, I put a projector right next to me here as I'm talking here, right? You can see, whoop, this way. There we go. That's a projector right there. When you go to the movies, the projector is the source of the material. It's the source. It's the light of the material. It's the light, whether it's a scary movie, whether it's a negative movie, positive movie. That's the light source right there. Okay? That's the light source. And it's projecting onto something. And unfortunately, when you go to a movie, everybody's focus is where? On the screen. People don't look up at the projector. They're not looking at the light it's coming from. They're looking at the screen. This is something that narcissists have figured out. If I project, they use their light in a very negative way. A lot of negative, hate-filled energy is the light, but they're projecting it as an image onto the world, onto you as a screen, so that people can look at you, even though they are the source. They are that light, and they're projecting all that image onto you. Okay? So again, whether that light is good or bad, it's always being projected onto a screen. Simple psychological projection is most often described as an attempt to cope with anxiety caused by having unpleasant or frightening feelings or impulses. Okay? This is the narcissist's way to cope with their frightening and unpleasant experiences, their thoughts, their impulses. Again, the narcissist's rage and anger is not about you. They're not angry. They truly aren't. It has nothing to do with you. They're frightened and angry over life, over how they were raised, over their circumstances, whatever the case may be, that they cannot cope with it, they cannot deal with it, and they'd rather not. It would take way too much work. So they keep these, it's unwanted. So they take that light, they use that as their light because that's what's in them, that hate, that anger, and all this stuff and impulses, and they project it out so they don't have to have it in their own conscious. They project it out. All right. A lot of it comes from deductive reasoning. I'm getting all education on you, huh? I've learned some stuff. I had to do some education here, but it helps me to understand this process, and I hope it helps you to understand the process as well. Most narcissists gravitate immediately towards deductive reasoning. Their whole life has been deductive reasoning. Not their whole life, but you know what I mean. From adulthood, from when they met you, prior to you, it's been deductive reasoning. Let me give you an example of what deductive reasoning is. Deductive reasoning is putting two things that are somewhat together to come up with some kind of an outcome. It's a general outcome that really has an effect on how they view things. So deductive reasoning, let me give you an example. Having sex means that someone likes you. Okay? Yeah, obviously, if someone is having sex, they like you. My girlfriend doesn't give me sex. Therefore, she must not like me. This is an example of deductive reasoning. Narcissists are full of this. This is why it's so hard to just have a straightforward relationship, right? If for those of you who are romantically involved with narcissists, you know that it's not, you can't just have a relationship because they live according to this deductive reasoning. Sex means that someone likes you because that's what we read about, and that's what the world of pornography and it's everything's screwed up because of this stuff, right? My girlfriend doesn't give me sex, so she must not like me, right? Forget that she's an individual who may just want to get to know you, right? And if you work with the Royal We, if you set an appointment with me, one of the things they do is work on you and your value. We work intensely on individual value. So you're able to withhold these things. And when people come around like this who use deductive reasoning, right? Well, you're not doing what I want. You must not really like me. They take a hike. Because that deductive reasoning will be there all your life. Okay? You don't want somebody who uses deductive reasoning. You want somebody who looks past deductive reasoning, who doesn't use deductive reasoning, who doesn't generalize people, groups, events like that, and instead gets to know you as an individual because you are an individual. You don't represent a group. You don't represent a group of people of just because you won't do the certain thing means that you don't like somebody. Okay? So we got to stay away from people who use deductive reasoning. Don't engage with them. It's just a trap of arguments, right? You have to be very good. You have to pick up some Ben Shapiro debate skills in order to get through a lot of this deductive reasoning. All right? A lot of the deductive reasoning is made up of also what's called syllogistic fallacies, syllogisms. For those of you who are far more educated than me on this stuff, you'll know what I'm talking about. Syllogistic fallacies also help narcissists create their narratives, their light from which they project onto. Let me give you some examples of syllogisms. It's the same thing. A syllogistic fallacy is a form of deductive reasoning, but an example of that is people at church are rude. Okay, because they go to church and they see people who are rude. All Christians go to church. Therefore, rude people are all Christians. That is a syllogistic fallacy. It's deductive reasoning. This can become a light within a narcissist that then they then project out. And they project out with such anger and force, you can watch it on the news. This is what the world, it's happening right now, right? As if you wear a Make America Great Again hat and you're around somebody who uses syllogistic fallacies, their life is based, their opinions are based on syllogistic fallacies, these group generalizations. People who wear that hat are such and such. This man is wearing that hat. Therefore, this man is such and such. Boom. Let's attack him. Let's get him. Okay? Very narcissistic. Very unthinking. It lacks critical thought if that's an individual. This is narcissist. Okay? Narcissism 101. Another example. And I'm not trying to create triggers here, but here's another example. My father was abusive. My father is a man. Therefore, men are abusive. Okay? This is a syllogistic fallacy. So but yet this happens all the time. All right? And then you have narcissists who live their life out stomping on guys everywhere because of this. Because of this syllogistic fallacy that's been created. The syllogistic fallacy has become the light that shines within them. It's what drives them, and then they project it. They find where to project that onto, okay? And so these examples, syllogistic fallacies, deductive reasoning, these things create the narratives that narcissists live by because they have to form these in order to feel like they can survive. Because a lot of narcissists, let's be honest, a lot of them were and have been abused in life. A lot of them have been have had these things, and so this deductive reasoning has become their protection, right? And so we're not here to bash them for that. That's not what the Royal We is about. What the Royal We is about is being aware of this. So when you come across it, when you come across the syllogistic fallacies, when you come across these deductive reasoning arguments, you can stay away. I get it. All right, I'm out. Because what's going to happen is you're just going to be a screen for that negative light to project on, right? And it's important also to understand that if you or if I are starting to form our own deductive reasoning, our own, and you can see how this works. We can all, listen, we're all projectors, right? We all hold our own light. We are all the source of what comes out of us. You follow me on that? The Bible talks extensively on this light and how great your light should be. And a light can't be hidden. A lamp can't be hidden on a hill. Check yourself as I check myself for syllogistic fallacies, right? For example, Narcissists, I don't know. Narcissists cuss this and that. That person's cussing, therefore that person's a narcissist. Well, maybe not. You don't know the person well enough, right? So you have to, but you know him enough to say, well, I'm not going to hang around, but you don't need to go as far as saying, well, he's a narcissist and probably, or I'll give you another example. You're in a place, you hear somebody cuss. It reminds you, well, my narcissistically abusive person cussed and he hit and beat me. This person is cussing, therefore he's a narcissist and a person who beats others. Do you follow me on that? That's syllogistic fallacy. That is deductive reasoning. And I'm sharing this with you because you and I have to avoid this at all costs, right? Yes, we have to be aware of our surroundings. Yes, we have to take the wisdom that we gained from narcissistic abuse, the enlightenment of it, because whether or not you believe it yet, I know you're in pain, I know it hurts, but you've been enlightened. God has opened your eyes to some realities of the world that you didn't realize were there. That doesn't mean we need to create syllogistic fallacies. It just means we need to be aware of our environment, who we're with. We need to be watching out for others who have these deductive reasoning, syllogistic fallacies at the same time. But we still need to operate from the same light within us. You have to operate within the light of you. If that light is love, if it's compassion, operate from that. Not to the point where you're inviting people in your home and who you don't know and making them tea and letting them talk you into having nice fancy dinners and none of that stuff. But you operate from the light that is you. And if you're not a person of negative energy and negative light, do not let the narcissist projection change your light, right? Just acknowledge, I was a screen in the relationship. I was the movie screen. And everybody was looking at me because the narcissist was the projector, the aggressive projector, projecting all that negativity. You were the screen, and you can walk away from the relationship feeling like everybody, the narcissist, the family, the friends, all were looking at you based on what the narcissist projected onto you. Why? Because you were the screen. You caught it. You stayed there. You stood there, right? And it's an important concept to understand. I hope you understand this illustration that I'm telling you, because the only way to get out of this, I'm going to give you some top projection examples that and trigger warning. So in case I don't want to trigger anybody, but these are most likely things you've heard. These are things that I've heard. And again, this is coming from the narcissist's light. This is their light. This is how they perceive the world. These are things that you'll hear. You are ignorant. Okay, whatever that means. The first time I heard that, you're ignorant, was from a narcissistically abusive person. And it came out of nowhere. It didn't even match up to what we were talking about. But it was just thrown out there like vomit. Bleh, you're ignorant. Ignorant about what? What are you talking about, right? You are so judgmental. It's number 2. I've heard that. I'm sure you've heard that too. You're just judgmental. Typically, when narcissists don't get their way, that's what will come out. Again, and this is because of the narrative of their life, the syllogistic fallacies, the deductive reasoning. Somewhere in their life, if I don't get my way, or people who are judgmental denied me my rights because they judge me, I'm not getting my way from you, therefore you're judgmental. Okay, you see that? And they're projecting that out. You are selfish. Okay? You think you are better than everyone else. Again, these are all projections. You always play the victim. First time I heard that, I'm like, what in the... I remember I was just asking somebody, listen, can we not be cussing at each other? I think I've already talked about this. You always play the victim. What are you talking about? I'm just asking you not to cuss. Come on, stop. You are bitter, or you're salty. You're salty, you bitter, right? All this stuff. And it always felt weird because I know right before the person said, you're bitter, you're salty, they just got through talking so negatively about something. And everything inside of me wanted to say, it's like everything you're telling me is what you're doing. I don't get it. You're the bitter one. You're salty. I don't understand. So confusing. It's gaslighting, okay, as well. Can't believe how sensitive you are. Maybe you've heard that. You're overly sensitive, right? Or you get butt hurt so easy. Loved hearing that all the time. Narcissist. That's such a narcissistic line. You get butt hurt way too easy. They say something just ridiculous, cruel, mean, whatever. Oh, you get butt hurt too easy. Okay. Meanwhile, if you say anything back, they get so angry, so hostile, right? And finally, your misery loves company, right? So again, these are all things that they feel inside. This is their light. And if we go back to what Freud said, he considered that in projection, thoughts, motivations, desires, feelings that cannot be accepted as one's own are dealt with by being placed on the outside world. So these things, they know are their light. They know it's their projector, but they can't handle it. They don't know what to do with it. I mean, God forbid they go and seek real help from a counselor and admit and acknowledge, I'm cruel, I'm mean, I hate people, whatever, and deal with the root, however deep this is, because it has seriously messed up the narcissist's light, and everywhere they go, they project that. Okay, and for a little while, they project the fake stuff, the love bombing, the good stuff, but right behind that comes the scary projection. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. And I hope that this has been a very informative teaching for you. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Telephone line is open right now. And I'd love to hear your guys' if you want to share some of the, perhaps you want to share some of the projection that you have dealt with that maybe has stuck with you. We can talk about that. Perhaps you want to talk about some of the syllogistic fallacies that you've witnessed so that we know in the group, you understand it, right? And everybody in the group can have an understanding of what, of this deductive reasoning that narcissists tend to live by, these syllogistic fallacies. Thank you, Tanya. D-Doll says Brian is giving the last bit for the drone. Is that right? Already? Well, I'm gonna be expect an unboxing. Expect an unboxing. I had trust issues. I was negative. I was controlling. Yeah, right. I see. Those were the projections. Absolutely. Yeah. Trust issues. You have trust issues. You're negative. You're controlling. Yes, this is all typical. It's typical stuff. This is all things that narcissists do. They do project these things because their light is that they need to control. We're going to take a call from California. You're live on the Royal We.
Daughter.
I didn't have you plugged in there. I'm sorry about that. Can you repeat that first part? My bad.
Sure. I had called you once before, a couple of months ago. I was the one that called about having to co-parent with the mother, which is a narcissist, and having to move out of state to be with my 2-year-old daughter.
Okay.
And,
yes.
Yeah. So this is a fresh incident. Just today, the court has ordered 10-minute FaceTimes every night. And just today, when we had FaceTime, the child was already crying, and she said, the mother said, "Oh, she's crying because she doesn't like to see you on the phone. That's why she's crying." And then she's like, "Don't worry, mother is here. Don't worry." And she put down the phone. So I essentially got only a minute out of the 10 minutes of FaceTime with her. And I had said, "Well, why don't you try back when she's less upset? She could be crying for any other reason."
Right.
And then, and then afterwards we continued our FaceTime, and she said, daughter's name, "You just have to endure it. You just have to endure it for 10 minutes. I know you hate it, but you have to endure it for the sake of your father wants his time with you,
right.
and mother is here, and don't worry." So this
she's
is,
priming.
I
She's
feel,
priming. She's priming your daughter, right? She's
yeah.
planting those seeds of divisiveness, of hatred, of anger, of animosity. So this is your wife's light right now. She's full of this anger, and she
Hmm.
wants to share it. And it sounds to me, typically when things like this are going on, your wife, is it your wife or ex-wife right now?
Soon to be. Soon
Soon to
to
be.
be. It's wrapping up, just waiting for the judge to sign it.
So
But
typically, she's not seeking counseling. Are you aware if she's seeking any type of counseling or therapy herself?
not that I'm aware of. We
Right.
did have one counseling session, and in that session, when the counselor was trying to speak, she spoke over the counselor and said, "You know what? I don't want to talk about anything except for what he did to me in the past in the court." And she just controlled the entire conversation.
Sure.
It was,
Yeah. And this is
yeah.
sad. And this is sad because most narcissists, because of their ego, will not allow themselves to open up to the point to get the deep healing that they need. So they stay away from counseling, they stay away from therapy, and instead, but guess what? That anger and that bitterness is still there. She's mad at
Hmm.
you. She's mad at you because the
Yeah.
marriage was a letdown. Whatever. Not your. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying as being being a narcissist who's not able to have the
Yeah.
empathy or the compassion to want to get healing, understand their own part in it. Instead, and that's what happens. She could go to a counselor with all that anger and unload on the counselor, right? And say, my husband this,
Hmm.
this, and my husband this, and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And guess what? Nobody's hurt. She's healing, right? That's fine. But instead, since she's not doing that, she has to find other ways to get it out. And unfortunately, the sad pawn in this is your daughter, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah. That's
that's
true.
terrible. That's terrible. And I wish I could tell you that there was an easy way to deal with this, except to say, you know, if you happen to be there, you could try to interject by saying, listen, you can say anything you want to me.
Hmm.
If you want to go into the room and call me names and cuss me out, I will stand there and let you. But please don't talk like that in front of the daughter.
Yeah.
Right? Another idea, another option, I don't know, people sometimes have a way of recording some of these things. And I'm
Yeah,
not yeah.
I've been big on recording everything, document everything, because I know anything will be used as a he said she said thing if I don't have any proof, and proof for my own sanity as well, to review these things. Like, did I say that? Did that really happen, or was it another distortion?
Right.
Um, I wanted to share this with just everyone, but during Thanksgiving, uh, she tried to take the daughter away, even though it was my timeshare. She's like, "Okay, time to go." I had to physically block the door and say, "You may leave, but you're not taking my daughter. This is my timeshare. This is court ordered, and that's basically final." But she tried to negotiate with me like for 2 hours. She called my mother and she called her mother and said that I was insisting, I was being threatening and all of that. And I said, "Hey, wife, or mother, check it out. I have a nanny cam right there. So go ahead and say what you have to say, but we're both accountable for all of this." And I had this nanny cam in order to keep myself accountable, and because of the caregivers and stuff like that, it wasn't set up just for you or anything like that.
Right.
And with that, I was able to put my foot down, stand firm, and secure my timeshare with my daughter on my overnights, starting on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Like, up to this point, I've been giving away ground and trying to think, well, we can get a mediator and do all this. None of it worked. It was just a delay tactic. It's a
Right.
delay manipulation tactic.
Right.
And
Right.
even now, with the law overhead and against her, she still feels that she has power over that and the ability to manipulate the system and to control and distort and project and everything.
Right.
That is the degree of madness that
You're
people
right.
with this
You're
have.
right. And again, it's because of a lack of guidance too. And this is typical of narcissists. They have such a fear of the guidance of professionals, of the guidance of counselors, of the guidance of therapy, that they typically just bullhead their way. And this is what makes them so unreasonable. This is what makes the relationship so dangerous, is their lack of ability to say, I need help, right? And again, not your fault. This is something that has in her life that she will always deal with until she's able to one day get help. Okay, for that. Otherwise, she's going to always try to And when you try to do that, take the reins, right? The Bible says that, it's man has his own plans in his heart, women too. Okay, and so this is where you're gonna have to have faith, because in the end, God's plan will prevail, right? God's will prevail as long as you don't mess things up any further, right? So your part in this is trusting, believing, making sure you're doing the right thing. You can record stuff, document stuff, whatever. Do your best just to put your best foot forward. Again, we talked about, I'm not sure if you saw all of this stream, but we talked about projection. Just be reminded that you project the light that's inside of you. Okay. Once you're done being the screen for a narcissist projector, you can actually outshine them. Once we realize there's power in this, right? This is what the Bible talks about when it talks about the light. You can allow this light to shine so bright to project back and work on keeping that positive. And I know it's hard when you're watching this stuff being said, about you to your daughter. It's very manipulative.
I'm totally reactive.
Of course.
I've been going through just things to control my anger and just emotionally mature myself to be able to handle and not get sucked into all the brain fog and almost to the point where you feel brainwashed and brain damaged by all this.
Right. One of the things we want to work on too is not being reactive, instead being proactive. All right. I made older videos talking about this. Is all of us became reactive in the relationships, and this is what narcissists want. This is what makes you the perfect movie screen for their projection. Is the idea that you react to whatever they put out, whatever image they throw, boom, you light up with that image. You're a mean old jerk. They throw that out of their negativity of their light, and you react to it, basically like a big movie screen catching it. Boom! No, I'm not. Stop saying that. Blah blah blah. And meanwhile, you're playing their projection. Okay, so instead, we have to be proactive. We have to anticipate their negative light, their negative energy. Anticipate that they're crushed, broken, hurting people. Know that you can't fix it because you didn't create the problem. You didn't make the problems in this person's life. Problems existed long before you. You can't fix it. All you can do is maintain your light and figure out what that light is if you haven't already, whatever it is, right? And maintain that. Then out-project her. Be proactive instead of reactive, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm just trying to damage control so that my child is not, as affected by her.
There's going to be a lot of proactiveness in that. That takes a lot of proactiveness. So this is going to be you as a father setting up visitation times, all kinds of stuff. Whatever you have to do as a dad to get what you need to do. Visit, this and that. Hopefully a lot of visitation time with her not being there. You know what I mean? So you can have that one-on-one time. But this is going to be proactive on your part. You can't wait for permission from her. She's not going to give it to you, right?
No, she tries to control it.
It just sucks. She does, and it sucks. We have to be in these positions. This is not how God wants us to live lives, but this is a challenge that you're up against.
Yeah, it's really, really difficult because I was going through a book and it was talking about the aggressor or the attacker, and then the one that's withdrawn, and then the gospel type response. But I know the gospel type response may be obedience to God and obedience to the Bible, but it will be just that. But it will not change the circumstances with the narcissist.
No.
And I have
Right.
to watch myself and
Right.
continue to document and do things. I can't just turn the other cheek and let her run over me and do all these things.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for calling.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We're all here for you, brother. Stay involved, and are you in the Facebook support group?
I am not.
Okay. Well, I encourage you to head over there. The Royal We Facebook support group. Blue usually puts links and stuff on there, and it's a way just to vent, right? So when something happens, and it's an amazing support group. When something happens, when you have a question, when you have a concern, when you're feeling down, pop it on there, and you'll get a lot of support. You will.
Okay.
A lot of people there who truly care. Okay. So I encourage you to head on over there if you're on Facebook. I don't know if you are or not, but it's a good place to be. Right on?
Okay. Yeah, right on.
All right. Thank you for calling.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. That's it's such a difficult situation for people to go through when you're dealing with that type of a thing. Very, very hard. Very hard. And phone line is open, and I know it's scrolling there on the screen. We'll take another telephone call. If not, I know it's getting late. A lot of people are wanting to go to bed. And we'll take a call from Nebraska. You're live on the Royal We.
Hi, Kevin. This is Brian.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Hey, I just wanted to call on a couple of things. First of all, don't break this new drone, please.
Don't break what?
And don't break this new drone, please.
Absolutely. No way. No way. Man, I don't think I could handle that kind of heartbreak twice. That's that fills you with anxiety right there watching that thing go down.
Absolutely.
Is this the Brian? Is this the Brian that everybody's been talking about in the group that is offering to help out?
Yes, it's
Wow.
in, and it's coming in via PayPal, so you got it.
Wow. Well, hey, wait. If everybody in the group right here would give this man who's on the phone, Brian, right now, just a big hug, round of applause, celebrate. I don't have anything to celebrate with right now. I wish I had some poppers or something, but I could just clap. Thank you. Yes. And here's the thing, Brian, if this wraps up something that is really significant, and like I said earlier, in being able for people to pull together for something, which is huge, which is really, really cool. And wow.
You're very kind, but let me just turn this back on you. If you were to talk to anybody that knows me, for me to do this, absolutely they would say that's highly unusual, but he must really believe in this guy. And that's what I want you to focus on, because of the work you do, the quality of the work, the way you're helping people that need this desperately. So I want you to...
Are you trying to make me cry, Brian? Are you trying to make me cry?
No. No, there's no crying in baseball.
All right. I'm not going to cry, Brian. I'm not going to cry.
You need to keep doing this. This is what you were destined to do.
Wow.
And it's amazing work. Man. And it was my pleasure to help out. And we all look forward to having you get stronger and keep going forward, because, we need you out there. And as I'm sitting here watching the live chat, there's a lot of people that depend on you, man.
I was just, you know what, Brian? I was having a conversation with Blue earlier today. I got to tell you, I'm going to share this with you, right? Told you I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry, Brian. I'm not going to let you make me cry, man. I'm not going to let you make me cry.
No crying in baseball.
I was, because of the Royal We's, because of the direction of it, it can be difficult, because you start to lose a certain amount of people who once followed you, because there's a certain typical way that people like to get this type of information, right? We're talking about abuse and whatnot. And so people might not be ready for a different creative approach to getting this information out. It's kind of new territory, if you know what I mean. And it's scary because I do get comments like, I liked it when you were just sitting on a chair talking. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. But going into this territory, I have these moments where like, man, but I was talking with Blue, and Blue said, just keep going. Do it, because it's going to be, just keep, and here you are confirming that. Do you know what I mean? You're affirming it. Keep going. It's good. It gets stronger. And I don't even know if you were aware of what you were saying and how impactful that is to hear you say that. Get better, get stronger, perfect it, which is just even more confirming of the direction of the royal we. And so for that, I thank you. I thank you.
Well, it's absolutely my pleasure. It's not a big deal, but like I say, I want you and everybody else that's listening to understand that really the reason I did it, and you're not going to meet a more cynical, black-hearted, nasty SOB than me.
Is that you?
Again,
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Trust me.
Well,
but
hey,
it's my support of what I see as a young man that has found his calling in life, and we as the group need to continue to do our best to support you. So, this is about you, man. Go do what you do and keep helping people that really need you.
Right on, Brian. I appreciate that. I truly do. And when I do the unboxing video on the organic channel, I'm going to be putting your name on it, so you'll see it. So you'll be up there in the sky, and I appreciate it. Yeah.
Would you do me one favor, if it's possible? Instead of putting my name on it, I'd like you to put my granddaughter's name on it, please. And her name is Scout, Scout.
Scout?
Yes.
I like that name. That's a great name. All right.
Because that's one of the reasons that I'm even in here supporting you and following you and listening to you, because I don't want that beautiful gift from God to ever have to endure something like this. So, again, don't worry so much about me. I'm just an old man sitting up here in Nebraska. Okay. So if you'd put her name on it in place of mine, that'd be outstanding.
You bet. So everybody who's watching this right now, be sure to watch out the next, if not this week coming, but the next week, by the time I get it unboxed, get it up there in the air, put together some content behind it, and be ready to watch. I hope that it's going to be a good moving video, not just about a drone, but about coming out of narcissistic abuse as well. So be on the lookout for that on the Royal Weed channel in the next couple of weeks. And Brian, thank you. You've definitely moved me with your generosity and tonight. Well, and so thank you.
My pleasure, young man. Just keep doing what you do, and we're out here, and we want to support you to the best of our ability.
Right on. All right. Well, thank you so much. And I don't know how to top this call. So with that, we're going to wrap it up tonight.
Take care, Kevin.
All right, you too, Brian. Bye.
Thanks.
Wow. Well, let's celebrate. That's it. We did it. We did it. We reached the goal. We reached the goal to go ahead and replace the Royal We drone. And so the next step is to replace the Royal We drone. I did not anticipate it happening this fast. I thought it was going to take up until December, right before I left to California. But wow, you all move fast. And so that's a huge thing. So again, I want to clap for everybody that has participated in this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull the drone fund me down, so it's no longer Blue. If Blue wants to, she can take them off the Facebook page as well, because it's done. No one needs to see that. I'm going to change it on the website as well. It'll go back to just normal. Whoops, sorry, I hit the camera. go back to just normal donations. And what an interesting thing, and to see interesting and amazing gift to be a part of and take place in, and to see it fulfilled, right? So, round of applause for everybody. Yes, 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 yes. Amazing, amazing. You all are amazing. And Blue and D-Doll and Tanya and Taylor, thank you all for everything that you do. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and put some sign-out music for everybody tonight. Where are you, Taylor? Dude. And Tanya. Yo, Tanya, just to let you know, Tanya, on the new Thanksgiving video on the organic channel, I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed. But on the new channel, the new video, that dude I put in the beginning was just for you. That was just for you, Tanya. Dude. I had to do that. I had to throw that in there. That little dude. And I'm thinking of just somehow fitting that in almost every video going forward. I don't know, as a transition or something. I want to have that dude. And every time I do, I'm going to be thinking of Tanya. And thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Blue. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, D-Doll. We have a lot of changes coming to the Royal We in the new year. A lot of changes, right? It's not going to really affect anything. Nobody is going to be it's not going to be anything bad. It's going to grow. It's going to it's going to be branching out in different directions, just to give you a heads up. So we'll talk more about that as we get closer to the new year. But we're working on it. So thank you all. And I hope to see you next Monday night right here on the Royal We Live, 9 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you have not subscribed, hit subscribe. If you're not yet on the Royal We channel, subscribe over there for the unboxing of the new drone, which will be either this week or this coming weekend. All right, with that, good night, everybody. Have a great night and enjoy the rest of your week.